Reince Priebus is a proud Packer fan from Wisconsin. He's also in his second term as chair of the Republican National Committee. He travels the country to get more Republicans elected, and he joins us this morning by satellite from Washington, D.C. Mr. Chairman, thanks for the time.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, we had Hillary Clinton here last weekend. We had Vice President Biden here on Wednesday. Both talked about the need to talk more about the needs of the middle class. They both took shots at Republicans for pushing tax cuts for wealthier Americans, saying that will only make the situation for the middle class worse. How are they wrong?
Well, I mean, they should look in the mirror and look over the world and the country they've been involved with. I mean, you look at the economy under Barack Obama, and everyone's doing worse. It doesn't matter whether you're in urban area or you're in the rural areas of this country. Everybody's doing worse under Barack Obama. If you look at the foreign policy under Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, it's a complete disaster. You look at people's opinions out there across the country, not taking my word for it, and you ask them, you know, what do you think about Barack Obama's performance or Hillary Clinton's performance in foreign policy? I mean, their numbers are in the toilet. So, I mean, it's easy to give speeches, and certainly the president and his friends are good at giving speeches, but when it comes to leading this country, they've done a pretty lousy job.
Let's talk about the U.S. Senate race in our states. We have the Republican Joni Ernst. We have the Democrat Bruce Braley. We've had polls all over the place on this. Most of them would seem to show a pretty tight race. Democrats and the pro-democratic super PACs have been taking some of the statements Senator Ernst has said over the last few months, some regarding personhood, some regarding privatizing part of Social Security contributions, and using those to kind of put together a narrative that she's too extreme. Do those statements she's made, do those hurt her with the general population in Iowa, the voting population?
Well, no, I don't think so. In fact, I mean, that's why, in spite of all of their best efforts and distortions, they've got a poll out this week showing Joni Ernst 6 points ahead of Bruce Braley. And when it comes to, you know, saying idiotic things, I think Braley takes the cake in this entire country. I mean, he's famous because he went down to Texas and spoke to a bunch of trial lawyers, made fun of Iowa farmers and Chuck Grassley, which is kind of a no-no in Iowa, I would imagine. And somehow or another, this guy's still on the ballot. If anyone is the king of making idiotic comments, it's got to be Braley. It'd be like me in Wisconsin making fun of the Packers or Miller Lite or Harley Davidsons or cheese. I mean, there are places you don't go, and this guy doesn't seem to get it. I think Joni Ernst is a breath of fresh air, and you know, I think it looks good for her. I agree with you. It's going to be a tight race, but it's going to come down to turnout and a ground game and getting people out to vote.
Stepping back from this, as you know, Iowans can turn on their TV sets and they're just bombarded with political ads all over the place. Some candidate stuff, but it's mostly super PAC stuff these days. But big picture on this is people look at the way Washington has either worked or not worked, depending on your perspective here. What at the end of the day is really the difference whether Ernst wins or whether Braley wins, whether Democrats keep control or Republicans take it? Because no matter what, you're going to have a Democratic president, you're going to likely have a Republican House. So aren't things really just going to stay the same regardless of this Senate race and the Senate in general?
Well, I mean, part of the problem is Braley's been a part of Washington, and I would agree Washington isn't working, and Braley's been a part of that dysfunction, and so I don't think he should be rewarded to the United States Senate for it. I think it comes down to turnout, and I think all of those ads are you know, they can be effective, and some are not effective, but in the end, it comes down to turnout. But I do think things can change with the Republican Senate, because I think if you really look at what's not happening in Washington, the House has put on Harry Reid's desk over 300 bills that have to do with energy, farming, jobs, the economy, and there are 350-some bills sitting on his desk. Now, something that I think maybe your listeners may not know, because obviously it's coming from me and it's obviously it seems partisan, but there are about 50 to 60 of those bills that were actually drafted by Democrats. most of those bills were actually passed by a 2/3 majority in the House. So lots of Democrats, lots of Republicans voting for these things. And it's actually Harry Reid who is really, put Democrat, Republican aside. He takes the cake for everything we don't like about politicians. We have to get rid of Harry Reid. A vote for Braley is a vote for Reid, and that's why I think Joni Ernst is a better choice.
We only have about 20 seconds left. Pure politics here. We have Paul Ryan coming here later on this month to do an event or two. Fellow Wisconsinites, if that's the right word. Serious or not serious in your mind about running for president in 2016, do you think?
I don't know how how serious he is personally about running for president, but certainly his name is talked about a lot on 2016, and so are so many other great options I think our party is going to have. But, Paul's the real deal. He's pure and genuine and authentic, and I think that's what people, they like about Paul Ryan and so many other people out there. People want real and authentic people to serve this country with a pure heart and make a difference.
All right, when we come back, prediction time with the chairman. Does he go politics? Does he go football? Does he go something else? His prediction next. Prediction time, Mr. Chairman, what do you have?
Well, look, I think that Joni Ernst is going to win that Senate race in Iowa, and she's going to go to Washington and be able to take out the long knife and cut some pork. And then the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl, and everything's going to be good in the world.
Shocking. Two shocking predictions you just made. They're absolutely shocking.
Yeah, but I had a nice little twist with the cutting pork.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. All right, Chairman Priebus, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.